Hi, welcome to TJ and Jodi's house.
Hey there. Here we are, the 101st edition of the TJ and Jodi's House podcast. I'm not going to do that, every time we do another podcast, Jodi.
Okay, good.
Since, last week was our 100th episode. Mm-hmm. And a very special guest with us today because Jodi wanted her to come in.
I did.
Well, I guess we both did. We both did, Her name is Amanda Riggin, and she is a longtime friend of the Ace and TJ show, and now one of Jodi's closest friends. Yay, welcome. Everybody else clap too.
Yay.
All right. So it's been a long time since you've been on any one of the Ace and TJ vehicles, as they say.
Right.
Podcasts or radio show and all that. And you've really taken this ball and run with it when it comes to your charity work and all.
Yeah, it's been 5 years, 2018.
That was the last time you were on one of our shows?
I think it was 2019 was on the show, but
It must have meant a lot to you. You know the exact dates.
I stay on y'all's Instagram, so I keep up with you.
Yeah.
But I've been all over, so. But yeah, it's been almost 6 years since the nonprofit started.
Mm-hmm. It's called Hungry Heroes.
Hungry Heroes, yep.
And she goes around and she finds people wearing capes because it's for superheroes, and then she gives them barbecue.
Pretty much.
That's the way it works.
Yeah.
No, it's first responders, police officers, firefighters, military people, whoever would be a hero in our society. That's what you do. She goes around and feeds them.
Yep.
In a nonprofit way. And how did you end up on the deal where you got that truck? First of all, what is that that they were talking about with Willie Robertson, Buck Commander, and all of that stuff?
So about a year after Hungry Heroes started, I was posting on Instagram, and E3 Meats, which is in Kansas, is owned by Adam LaRoche, which he played for Atlanta Braves. Long story short, he is partial owner of Buck Commander. So that's with your man, Luke Bryan, Jason Aldean, Tyler Farr, everybody. And so they invited me out. They do combat veteran hunts every year. So about 5 or 6 times a year, I go out there and I serve all week, which I'll be out there all next week. And Willie and Corey own Camp Chioka, which is a youth camp in Louisiana. And so they said, hey, for sportsman camp, can we fly you out here and cook for sportsman camp? I was like, that's awesome. Well, then they called back, and I don't know if you ever watched Buck Commander, but they all prank each other.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Jodi calls me, and he's like, Riggin, what kind of truck do you have? And I was like, what? F-150? And then he said, well, would you want us to do like a rebuild on it when you come to Louisiana? And I'm like, hell yes. So they send me the website and like, pick what you want. I'm like in tears. So I pick everything. And so they sent a hauler to Rock Hill, South Carolina, and picked it up. I flew out the next week, and then they revealed it to me.
So they just completely redid your truck and tricked it all out.
Yep,
and
tires, rims, lift, fender flares.
It looks awesome.
Yeah. So, but at first I'm like, dude, stop messing with me. Like, I know you're just messing with me because they all know I'm a truck guru. But yeah, and then I had to drive home 11 hours with my mom from Louisiana. But that was my first time in Louisiana.
Yeah, so that's you were in the area where I grew up. And most people think whenever you say you're from Louisiana, you're from New Orleans or you're a Cajun or whatever, but not. I mean, I grew up in the central part of the state, right close to. I think Monroe is one of the places that we would either go south to where Jodi grew up in the big city to the mall and all that, or we would go north the same distance to go to where Duck Commander and Buck Commander's house in Monroe, West Monroe.
Yeah, that was awesome. We were in Calhoun, and then I ventured off one of the days from the camp and served Monroe PD and all their heroes while we were there. And then we toured Duck Commander, which was really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good.
So I do want to take my dad back, though, because he'll travel for food. And I do want to have some, like, real Louisiana food.
Did you eat some real Louisiana food?
I didn't have time, but I did do a huge, like, low country boil, which was intimidating there, to do it there. And then I was told it was a little bit too spicy for the campers.
Yeah.
But I love
the kids, you mean?
The kids, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was like middle school through high school. They were learning like archery and duck calls and stuff, and I made it a little bit too spicy. But.
Well, we could swap out, and because I'm no good on the grill at all. I'm good on a griddle, but I'm not good on the grill. And I could teach you Louisiana cooking, like authentic Louisiana stuff. If you could teach me something about ribs and all.
I'm trying to perfect my brisket now. I'm trying to perfect it. I got to dial it in a little bit more. I made one last night. It was a little dry, a little firm, but yeah, I'm trying to perfect it. So.
Well, what's your specialty?
Pulled pork is what we usually serve at all the agencies because it's cheap and it goes far. And so you can't really mess it up. I'm sure you'd be able to do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I do that in a crock pot.
That's not fun. I don't like cooking inside. I like being outside.
See, I'm the opposite. I want to be in the air conditioner.
Oh, well.
And I want it outside so it smells
Smell all
outside.
that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but if you're doing pulled pork and all that, what are the sides that you got to have a special, one of the side dishes that you think is the best of yours?
Banana pudding.
Yeah.
So we usually just do pulled pork, slaw, beans, and banana pudding.
Is that what you usually do?
Yeah, banana pudding is that's what my mom's known for now.
Yeah.
Mama's pudding, so yeah, she does that part.
She does. So when you go to do like I've seen you at the concerts and stuff, like you just did Luke Combs, and so do they contact you and say, hey, we want you to come, or how's that work?
The first year he came, I guess it was in 2019 when he came to Charlotte. I had a connection with Channing, one of his songwriters in Georgia, and so he kind of connected us. And since then, every time Luke and his crew come anywhere near the Carolinas, we just throw it together, set up, make barbecue for their crew. And plus, they always give back tickets for us to raffle off or give to first responders. So I'm game to help anyone who helps and supports us. Same thing with Travis Tritt.
Yeah.
I mean, he even announces us like during the show. Like he's
that's
a huge
great.
patriot. So
Yeah, he is. He's really cool.
Yeah.
But Luke Combs was your favorite way before you even started the Hungry Heroes.
Well,
thing,
especially
'cause
Travis. I love 90s country.
Yeah, me too.
Me too.
But isn't it cool though? Because like when I first started talking to you, I had told you I always want to be on radio and doors open for me. And then once Hungry Heroes started, like doors started opening in the country music world that has nothing to do with barbecue.
Yeah.
And so we fly out to Nashville, Brentwood every year and do a Hungry Heroes golf tournament with Tyler Braden and the music label. And I'm just like, it's just weird how Smoking Boston Butts has opened so
many doors.
Yeah,
for you.
like the Lord really does know like the wishes of your heart. And I never was on the Ace and TJ show, but twice, but
Oh, never but twice.
But twice.
Because after you were on those 2 times, you just blew up, and then you were off to the Hollywood of barbecuing.
Giving y'all the credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. You think it was you and not the Lord?
No, I mean, I'm just saying that as far as publicity and all of that.
Yeah.
Once she was on the Ace and TJ show, that's when she just went. The
I was
Lord
more
brought her to
nervous.
us, and then exploded after that. So that's what it was.
I was more nervous to be on the show than I was at Steve Harvey, because I've listened to you guys forever.
I want her to tell like that whole thing, because some people listening may not know how this all came about and all that.
I'll shorten it up for him.
Okay.
Okay, well, hold on. Let's take a break, and then you won't have to shorten it up too much because we'll have plenty of time.
Okay.
All right. So we got more with Amanda Riggin, aka Hungry Heroes chick, coming up next.
TJ and Jody's house. TJ and Jody's house.
Hey, remember, the sponsor of TJ and Jody's house every week is Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. They have several locations in the Lake Norman area. We go to the one in Mooresville. Well, one of the ones in Mooresville. They also have an outlet location in Mooresville. But that's where our living room furniture came from. And Jody's been the personal shopper for some other people who's going to going to Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture. So whether you're looking for the comfortable mattress with all the latest technology to keep you cool at night, or whether you're looking for a beautiful sectional for your living room, recliners that aren't they're kind of deceiving as recliners. They look like just beautiful chairs, and then they turn into recliners when you want them to. In other words, recliners that Jodi would let me have in the living room.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm. And then make sure you ask to see the TJ and Jodi's living room set. They'll show it to you, or they'll show you the new version of it.
Right.
Yeah, the new version of that. And you can really depend on them to make sure that your furniture and all is delivered properly. Their delivery team is second to none, and it's a family-owned and operated business. And you can tell as soon as you get there. It seems like everybody that works there loves each other, and everybody that works there loves, the people who run the thing, the bosses. Okay, like we were in there the other day, and they said, "Yeah, if you don't like that, then Katie's dad works on this, or Greg's dad can do that for you." So it's really a nice operation that they have. Go to acetj.com/mattress, acetj.com/mattress. Sweet Dreams Mattress and Furniture sounds like a sweet deal to me. All right, we're here with Amanda Riggin. I would say, been with us since she was a baby. as a listener and then as a friend of the show. Before you get into the whole Steve Harvey thing and how that launched you into stardom, you were talking about Luke Combs and the country music world and all that. The ultimate question, I think, for Jodi and for my little friend Jenny, who's always listening, have you gotten to meet Jelly Roll?
Wow. Next weekend, I will be in Kansas City with him and Ashley McBride.
Shut up.
For real.
Well, we're going to be with him the next weekend in Nebraska.
Yeah.
That's cool. Have you watched the documentary?
Yes.
I'm going to watch it before I go.
So great.
Yeah. So I introduced them to Jelly Roll's music because I've been a fan of his for way, way, way before there was any thought of a country music career with him. He was all rapping and stuff. And now it's Jenny Roll and Jodi Roll. That's all they think about. It's
the only concert Jenny will go to.
In Nebraska?
This will be the
Nebraska?
third. Well, she lives in Lincoln.
Okay.
Or grew up in Lincoln, lives here. But we've been twice to see him. We saw him here. We saw him in Johnson City, Tennessee. And then now we're going to Omaha to see him. So it's only... I'll go to any concert, but she will only go to that concert.
It's the only musical act she's ever been passionate about.
Mm-hmm. Luke Combs, I went with her husband.
Dang, I wish y'all were going to Kansas City.
Me
That'd
too.
be fun.
Me too.
So did you know that story about? Okay, well, my little friend Jenny and her handsome husband Michael we all go together everywhere, and I got 2 tickets to see Luke Combs at the stadium, and so Michael loves concerts, but Jenny doesn't. Only Jelly Roll. And Jodi loves concerts because she wanted to see Lainey Wilson in that deal. And so Michael and Jodi went to the concert together, and then Jenny and I went, and did like a small town adventure kind of thing with Mo, our limo driver, wasn't a limo, but he's a driver from Rose Transportation.
I don't enjoy all the people. I don't know why at concerts, but I've gotten used to being like probably too far up close and behind the stage. So now I really don't want to go if I can't be like side stage.
I mean, yeah.
And I know that sounds like, stuck up, but now it's like I don't want to deal with a bunch of like drunk people.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of that. Yeah. And plus the delay and everything.
Yeah, I ended up
bad.
leaving after that.
But
it's
awful.
funny you said Lainey Wilson because we were serving John Party and his crew in Raleigh last year, and this was before Lainey was even on Yellowstone, so she was not as famous as she is now, and she loved the banana pudding. My mama, we took a picture with banana pudding and my mama with her. So a few weeks ago when they came to Charlotte, Mom's like, I really want to make Lainey her own banana pudding. I'm like, Mom, you can't do that. Like, there's no way in hell she would be able to even get that from you. Anyway, Saturday we get there. Mom brings it in a cooler bag with ice packs. We're walking out of the catering room, and here walks in Lainey. And I said, Lainey, we got you your own banana pudding. She remembered everything. Like, she was so excited. And so it worked out. My mom was like, well, I'm just going to make it. And if she gets it, she gets it. And if she doesn't, she doesn't.
Right. That's sweet. I love her. She's my favorite.
Yeah, I love her. So.
It's in Louisiana.
And I loved her
girl.
before Yellowstone.
Me too.
Yeah.
I was like, do you remember? Because, like, think about how many places she's been. She's like, I remember. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Louisiana people are smart.
Yeah.
We never get credit for it, but we are. All right,
forgot she was from there.
so explain all the stuff that that got you where you are, that really catapulted you out there into the world.
So I was 2017. I was full-time FedEx driver. Been there for about 6 years, killing my body. I'm like 130 pounds, delivering a bunch of mess. But anyway, that year I got a Traeger wood pellet grill in December for Christmas, and so I've always loved outdoor cooking and grilling. And exactly a month later, at the end of January in 2018, we had an ambush on 4 officers in York County, South Carolina, and Detective Mike Jodi passed away. And so I had never seen our community that broken. My route was Pineville Matthews, so the day of his service was at the Calvary Church, and I had to stop there. But I couldn't even get like 2 miles within, close to the church because of all of the news reporters, helicopters, and I mean, there was cop cars from like Canada and Texas everywhere. And so I just sat on the side of the road and just was crying, like what in the world? Because this was like a year before police brutality, you know what I mean? And so like every day I'd go home and just pray, like, how can I tangibly help? Everybody was putting like thin blue line flags up. And I came home one day and opened the fridge, and I felt the Lord like feed them. And so without culinary background or any training, I just started making pulled pork, and I started out with Rock Hill PD and then just went everywhere I could in my area. So social media and posting it, everybody got behind me, and I only started it to help heal my community. My brother's a police officer in Fort Mill, and now we're nationwide.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And the first thing was being on the Ace and TJ show. That really was the thing that
was the first
got
big
kicked
door that
off.
opened.
Yeah. And then you were on the Steve Harvey show for something that happened when you were on your route with FedEx that went viral.
Yep. So that was exactly a year later. In 2018, I was kind of getting worn out because I was delivering Monday through Friday, single mom, cooking barbecue, which is like a 10-hour cook overnight, serving every Saturday. And I'm like, man, I can't do this anymore. I was trying to juggle all of it. And I felt the Lord like, next year's your year. Do not quit. Next year's your year. January 3rd on my route is when I encountered the lady on my route while I was delivering, that she had said her husband was passing away, like literally right there in the front, in the living room. And I had to go back and pray for her. And so that one act of obedience, 1 year later, launched us nationwide. A lot of people know me as the FedEx prayer girl. They don't put 2 and 2 together that it's Hungry Heroes 2. And actually, Hungry Heroes was a year old. I was serving my butt off for a year until all of that happened. Wow. So, and I posted it last week randomly on TikTok, and it's going viral on TikTok again.
Well, the thing about it is, and I don't know that all of this would happen if you were different. But the fact that all of this stuff that has happened, and you've touched so many people, and you've gotten all of this notoriety for what you do, is that it hasn't changed you, and you're not the type of person to say, "Look what I've created."
Right.
It's like you're always saying that it's because of God, and God led you to do this, and God made this happen. And, like you said, the obedience. She's talking about being obedient to God's will, and you haven't changed a bit when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I mean, because it absolutely is. I was miserable delivering. It was just a dead-end job. Not dead-end job, but you know what I mean. I was miserable and working in all the weather and conditions, and I prayed every day, like, please, like, get me out of here, And so I absolutely 100% know it was because of the Lord.
Right.
Have
and
you
with a
always been
purpose.
strong in your faith? Like,
No.
you haven't. Okay.
No. And so it's funny because like even this week, whenever I posted the TikTok video of the FedEx video, people are like, your parents got to be so proud, like, way to go. And it's kind of like, you don't know this, but I didn't grow up in church ever. The only time I went to church, like, with my dad was at a funeral. Mm-hmm. So I never went to church. And not that they're against it. It's just a lot of churches are full of hypocrites. And that's just how my dad's always believed. And so I didn't even know, like, the books of the Bible or anything, which is really intimidating to walk into a church and you don't even really know what they're talking about.
Sure.
You can't even pronounce it,
Sure.
which I still can't.
Sure.
So after I had my daughter,
Pronounced church.
I can pronounce that. So I went on a whim one day. My daughter was probably about 6 years old, and I started going to a local church, and it's a pretty long testimony. But I wasn't raised knowing the Lord at all, and so it's kind of cool now looking at my dad's faith is growing, like just by watching me, which is really cool. So
Yeah. Because like I was in church, but I've been in a Bible study probably now for, I don't know, 6-7 years, something like that. And it's a small group.
Yep.
And I've learned more about the Bible being with those few women once a week than I ever learned being through church.
No, I believe it.
Yeah, and because most of y'all were alive during biblical times. It's an old group.
Except me.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding.
But no, I agree. Like you don't have to be going. You can still learn, and
I do think being accountable is important because I
Yeah.
haven't been to church in probably a year. I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
I just started watching The Chosen and doing what you call it, Bible study with
Yep.
Riley, my daughter, from season 1 and 2, which has really helped me like visualize the
Yeah.
actual stories.
yeah,
But yeah, people think you have to be like a Bible thumper or some Christian fanatic to move your feet and touch people's lives, and you don't at all.
and when you are doing that and you are following that, things do fall into place
Yep.
in your life without you even realizing, what's going on.
Yeah, I know when I look at you, I would automatically think Bible thumper.
Especially with
Yeah, all
my
tatted
new
up and
dude. I've gotten
know.
a lot more since you've
I
seen
know
me.
that was what I was going to get into in the next segment. Like, how many have you added since I saw you last? All right, we got more coming up. Hang on.
More from TJ and Jody's house next. Let's go. It's TJ and Jody's house on the Radio Button Network.
All right, here we go. We're back at TJ Jody's house with Amanda Riggin. Do people still just call you Riggin all the time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially, like with this.
Right.
Just from sports.
And the reason that we've always used your first name on the show is because we have Riggins and it would be confusing. So it's always say Amanda Riggin. And we say that whenever you're not around too.
You do?
Yeah, Riggin said, I saw Amanda Riggin reposted on Twitter, on TikTok, the video of her,
That's funny.
her whole thing. And yeah, so how many tattoos do you have now? Because you do look like you got several more since I saw you last, which it's been 8, 9, 10 years.
Well, I lost count. But I will tell you, funny thing is, I wanted my hands blasted, that's what you call it, like for years. And then finally I just went and did it. My mom and I were serving at Salt Lake City Police Department in March. And so I went online and Googled it because I had some free time. There's tons of tattoo shops in Salt Lake City. And I made an appointment. I'm like, Mom, I'm going to get my hands blasted tomorrow. What? Do not tell your daddy where we are. Do not tell him. I was like, all right. But yeah, this says made holy. And I got the crown of thorns on this hand, to represent what he went through. And then the crown for his daughter.
Yep.
But yeah, I've lost count.
So when you
the
get your
Bible?
hands blasted,
Okay.
Yeah.
that just means you get tattoos on your hands?
Safe,
Yeah.
It's like, I got my hands.
Yeah.
Why don't you get your arms blasted?
Well, there's no more room.
Oh. No. What I mean is, what's the difference in just getting a tattoo and getting blasted?
I don't know. I
It's
just
just
know, like
blasted
on
when it's on the
Instagram,
hand.
they say blasted. So I was like, I'm going to get my hands blasted. But it hurt. It really hurt. The other ones really didn't hurt that bad. But this whole arm is my testimony. So, like
Okay.
everything, Lion of Judah, the Bible, dove for the Holy Spirit, God is my anchor. And then this whole is like my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, did you have Jesus' name misspelled on purpose on your
Oh
arm?
gosh.
Made you look.
No, there's some I regret. I know you're gonna ask that next. On my back, I don't ever see it, so it doesn't bother me anymore. But across my back says "Beautiful Disaster."
Do you have any on your legs?
No, because I have chicken legs.
Okay.
And
So you just do your arms?
I do have one at my ankle. It's my daughter's foot when she was born.
Okay.
But other than that, it's just like here and then my arms.
Okay.
Yeah.
In your back.
Yeah.
So you're never going to go for anything, neck up?
No.
You never do that?
You have a
No.
tramp stamp?
Yes, which was my first one when I was 18. My dad gave me $100 to go shopping on my birthday, and I came home with no bags. No shopping bags. And he was like, well, what'd you get? And I'm like, yeah, you don't want to see this.
And that was your first one?
Yeah, it's this palmetto tree.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
It's for South Carolina. She's representing.
Yeah, well, we came home
Representing.
from Salt Lake. I went over and I had forgotten I was cutting a steak. I was eating dinner with my parents, and my dad was like, what's on your hands? And I was like, oh, gosh. But he didn't even ask after that. So he's like, I thought you were done with that shit. I'm like, well, I'll always be his little girlfriend.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is it just you and your brother?
Yeah, and so I'm the first one who started getting them. It doesn't matter for the boy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But girls, a little
No.
different.
Yeah, I've just never found anything that I didn't think I would get bored with sooner or later, because I can't stay focused very long on one thing.
I do remember back when I used to listen all the time growing up. I remember you saying one time it was like either have one or all.
Yeah.
Like, do you remember that?
Or covered.
Like, if you're gonna get them, like get them.
Right.
Like, not just like. So I'm like, man, TJ's gonna love this. But now Riley, my daughter, turns 18 in October. And now she's wanting to get a tattoo. And it is different from a parent's perspective. I'm like, what? What are you going to get? Make sure you like it.
I feel like our daughter, Lainey, I don't know. I just feel like she may do that one day.
You think so?
I don't know. She might. She's living in Nashville now.
Yeah.
So
Oh, man. And I love Nashville. Every time I see you guys there. I need to tell her about the golf tournament.
well, she's a cart girl. She's a cart girl right now at a country club there, and loves it. Because she
That's
said, I like
awesome.
it. I'm out there. I'm not, it's a bunch
You're
of
in the
dudes.
way- yeah.
I don't have to deal with any drama. I'm on my cart. So she likes it a lot. She does a lot of tournaments.
I thought working with dudes would be easier. But, like, when I was at FedEx every day,
No.
it is not. I
Really?
mean, yes, act like little girls. But hopefully she doesn't experience
No,
that.
I think because she's on the cart, she just passes them. She's
Yeah.
starting to kind of know them, and she likes it.
Yeah.
That would be
But
fun.
I don't think she'll be getting.
Look, he's
Tattoos.
still stressing over there.
No, but I don't.
You don't think
she
she'll do
would.
it?
No, because one, she's not going to go through that pain. Mm-hmm. Like, she doesn't like.
Well, they're
she doesn't
expensive
like
too,
pain.
so she probably don't like that part either. And I learned the hard way: you get what you pay for.
Yeah.
Because when I was 18, I didn't have anything. But the other day, I went and got this filler for Riley because she's musical theater, and so now she wants something like that.
So she does a lot of theater stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get her to New York to go to Broadway one day, hopefully. We were going to go, and then COVID happened, but she was Little Red Into the Woods, which was like her first leading role, and then Footloose, which was my favorite
Yeah.
show. And then when they start school next week, they'll find out what their show is this year.
So she's good with the singing and dancing and all of that.
Yep, she's learning better with singing.
Yeah.
And it kind of stinks for the kids for musical theater because you have to be like a triple threat. Like just regular theater,
Yeah.
I could probably do that too, but not the whole dance and sing thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Our daughter did all that.
Really?
She did. She did. She was in tons of plays. She was Belle and Beauty and the Beast, and she was Alice and Alice in Wonderland, and then she just stopped.
I love it, but it's like when your kids play sports, you get to see them all the time. And then with theater, she has like 2 shows a year if you're lucky.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's
so much practice.
yeah, and like last year I had to fly home twice, like on a red eye, to surprise her and make it because I'm not gonna miss a show.
Yeah.
And so it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, it won't. It won't stick with her very much if you're not there. And
I know.
You're out getting another tattoo instead of going back to watch her play.
She cried last time. I'm her girl. I wouldn't be surprised if she stayed home and went to Winthrop. I just don't see her going far.
You don't see her leaving you?
Leaving far, yeah.
Now, is that something that you're glad about, or do you say she needs to go find her own?
I want her to
bit?
experience it just because I didn't get to.
Yeah.
Pregnant at 19 and having her, I kind of had to put my life on hold. So I do want her to experience that. But student loans and all that, I'm trying to just get her to be realistic. I would love for her to go to Carolina. That's like 50-minute drive on 77. And I can make it there. So.
Yeah. But I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot, yeah.
She'll be a completely.
Louisiana fan.
No. I'm just saying if she goes to UNC, she'll come back a different person after the first 3 weeks she's there. They'll indoctrinate
You didn't
her.
mean UNC, did you?
USC.
USC.
Oh, you said
Columbia.
South Carolina.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. That's in state for you.
Yeah.
I forgot you live in South Carolina. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's cool. Should be all
We'll
right
see.
there. But it's expensive, and then a lot of times it's just they kind of make you feel like you have to go to college sometimes
Yep.
when you shouldn't be going to college. There are other great jobs that you could be training for or whatever.
Yeah, I felt like a failure, to be honest. When
Yeah.
I got out of school and all my friends are off to college, and I'm like, dang, I felt like a failure. And now it's like, wow, like I'm doing things I never thought I would. And a lot of my friends aren't even working in the industry of what they went to school for. So I don't want to bash it, but you got to be realistic, especially since COVID. We kind of got to see what jobs are
Yeah,
100%. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yep.
I'll bash it. I don't care.
I mean, our daughter graduated college and she's a cart girl.
Well, just temporarily.
But she did PR and music business. But it's hard. But what my point is, it's hard to find jobs. It's very hard to find
Once
jobs.
you get out, yeah. And then with like COVID, we found out like truck drivers, all these people that were like necessities. Other
Yeah.
than that, some people lost their jobs.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to just get her to be realistic, which is really hard when you're 17.
Yeah,
Yeah. They don't want to listen.
but you don't want any part of that New York. Don't
Oh,
be
no.
encouraging her to go to New York.
I'm just glad she's a better kid than I was.
It doesn't seem like that'd be very hard though.
Well,
That's a low bar.
I mean, I'm just glad we didn't have App 360.
Oh, yeah. Right. I know.
Steve would have had to change the locks on the front door.
But we're glad you got on the straight and narrow now.
Oh, thank you.
Acting
I found the Lord.
acting
Yeah.
like a decent person now instead of an outlaw all the time. All right, well, this is fun. Thank you very much for making that long drive up here to where we are. And again, that was Jodi saying, "Hey, get her up here. Let me get
Yeah,
her up here."
she does a lot of cool things. And
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I would have said, well, that's a long way to drive. Like, we can do a Zoom or something, whatever.
No, I'm a hugger. I'd rather give y'all a hug.
All right, well, cool, and continued success on all your stuff, and I think it's great
Thank
what
you.
you're doing, helping other people, and
people can
all of
donate,
that.
right?
Yeah. So, where's the all the information where people need to go see you?
HungerHeroesBBQ.com, and I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and we sell some pretty cool merch,
Yeah.
which I design. So a lot of people ask, like, how can we help? And basically just people think we have big corporate sponsors, right? We don't. Like, we literally are almost 6 years old on backyard, blue collar, just people like us donating. And I think that's awesome. $10 a week or whatever. So don't feel obligated if you can't, prayers.
Yeah. So HungryHeroesBBQ.com. All right, cool. Well, thanks.
Thank you.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, guys.
All right. Bye-bye then.
It's TJ and Jodi's house on the Radio Button Network.